Hi, everybody. We're doing it again. We're watching another episode of Walking with Dinosaurs.
What?
Actually,
Okay.
you know what's a really fun plan we've got? We're gonna watch a lot of episodes of Walking with Dinosaurs tonight, and it's gonna look like we wore the same clothes for about 5 weeks. We're gonna have a wonderful time. But today is episode 2 of Walking with Dinosaurs, which is the Time of the Titans, correct?
Yes. Well, we should clarify now. The 1999 Walking with Dinosaurs.
Yes, not the new release, which is not yet out in the US here, although I think a lot of US paleo fans have probably seen it already.
There are no oceans on the internet.
There are no oceans on the internet. But yeah, we're watching the original series because there's the new Walking with Dinosaurs, which just came out. I've only seen one episode of it so far. But we figured this was a really good time to go back to the original Walking with Dinosaurs from 1999 because this was a really influential show for a lot of us here on the Skeleton Crew, and I think for a lot of paleo fans and scientists alike. It's an amazing documentary, really, really inspirational. And I mean, despite sparking a lot of documentaries that are styled like it, like full-on CG recreations of animals in their environment, I think there's really nothing quite like the original Walking with Dinosaurs. This is a high that not a lot of things have gotten close to. And it's just kind of unmatched. So it's been really fun to revisit it. We're going to start the episode in a couple of minutes, but I just want to briefly tell you, in case you're a new viewer, because believe it or not, these videos have gotten some new viewers in. Look at that.
Aww.
Yes.
Wow.
I checked before we recorded, a whopping 18 new subscribers on the last one, which is not does 18 sound like a lot? No, but it's 5 more than the T-Rex video did so far, which is pretty impressive.
We're vertebrate paleontologists. 18 is an insane sample
18
size.
is a frankly unfathomable number of specimens for most things in the fossil record.
In the vertebrate fossil record.
The terrestrial vertebrate fossil record.
Yes. We're putting more and more qualifiers on that statement.
In the terrestrial vertebrate non-Oreodont fossil record.
The more qualifiers on it.
Exactly, Alex. Thank you. So my name is James Napoli, Dr. James Napoli. I'm a research instructor at Stony Brook University, where I teach human anatomy to health science professional students.
My name is Dr. Amelia Zietlow. I will be, at the time of this video, teaching a course for the Sternberg Science Camps in Hays, Kansas.
My name is Scott Johnston. I am the vertebrate paleontology, fossil preparator, and technician at Harvard University's Museum of Comparative Zoology. And I just had the realization that once all of my friends here have fancy titles in front of theirs, I'm just going to have to specify Mr. Scott Johnston because I don't want to be left out.
It's okay, Mr. Johnson.
It's very kind of you, Mr. Rubenstahl.
Hi, I'm Alex Rubenstahl. I'm a PhD candidate at Yale University, and I'm happy to be here.
We're happy that you are here.
Indeed.
And I am Dr. Dalton Meyer. I am in the magical summer interim period between finishing my PhD, doing some final bits and bobs for that, and then waiting for the next thing to start. So for now, I'm at Yale University. But together, we're the Skeleton Crew.
And we're going to watch Walking with Dinosaurs. So we're going to get right into it. We got a comment about this on the last video, and so we've made alterations accordingly. We're going to have a timer on screen. So we're going to tell you when to hit play. We're watching on the Internet Archive where this is archived. I don't know if that's available everywhere or if you have to find a different way to watch the show. You might have it on DVD or whatever. But I'm going to tell you when we hit play and display a time code from that recording.
Also, let this be a reminder. Check the playback speed on this video. We had a couple comments saying, like, I couldn't keep it in sync. Turns out we were at 1.25 or 1.5 or something like that. Set us to regular speed or set both of them to the same one.
Watch videos at the speed they're intended to be viewed at.
Yes.
Unless it's like you're listening to 8 hours of the Shoe Body Bop or something like that, and you want it to match the sped up TikTok version that you saw first.
Oh my God.
Speaking from personal experience. So anyway,
James, we're accommodating of our viewers who of the newer generation who watch things a little faster. We don't have to disparage them, even though everything they're doing is wrong and an acid to the bedrock of society.
Anyway, without further ado, Walking with Dinosaurs, episode 2, Time of the Titans.
What?
And I'm going to hit play in 3, 2, 1, play.
Here we go.
Okay, I need to ask because I haven't seen these as much as the rest of you probably. Is this the sauropod one?
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yes.
All right, I don't like what happens in this one.
This one's actually this.
Go on.
I have umbrage that this is the second one
Why is that? Because there's
Because
no...
it's not chronological.
because it's not. No, it's not chronological.
Yeah.
The Cruel Seas, everything in the Cruel Seas is like late Jurassic or maybe even middle Jurassic, but this is
This is late Jurassic, yeah.
But
Yeah,
I guess
that's
you
true.
want to keep the dinosaur thread.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Well, and this bleeds in nicely immediately from Plateosaurus.
Oh, it immediately looks
Plesiosaurus, yeah.
fantastic.
Oh my god.
It immediately looks like better than everything else.
This might be my favorite one.
It's a forest.
I think
This just
I think it's
clears.
my favorite one. It's definitely the one that like the most of it has stuck with me.
Yeah.
That's a great sound.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
But incoming
Back it up.
Ovipositor alert.
botherer.
Oh yeah.
There it is!
Yeah. Oh, it looks so good.
Ovipositor.
Hell yeah!
Because like this is a thing that sea turtles do, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, and it was a hypothesis at the time of basically a very logical question of if cloaca up there and egg go on ground,
Yeah.
how does it get there?
Man, I really thought there was more ovipositor footage than that. That's
No,
really
just-
it.
It's a lasting image.
It is.
Just
Oh, yeah.
feels
I
like
thought
a
there was
vintage
too. Maybe in the American version, there's
They lingered on the ovipositor for
20% more ovipositor.
Nice.
I love this shot also. It looks...
is-
And the music
Yeah.
swelling as it.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
it's amazing.
Those nice dorsal scale rows. Oh yeah, look at that.
I love the
And-
way
and-
the bottom of the neck moves. Like it just has a lot of
yes.
gravity and inertia
This
to
shot.
This is
Yeah.
also great. Yeah, look
It
at the
does-
neck
it feels
wobble.
big.
it. Yeah,
It's
it
a
does.
big like gray brown smear
Yeah.
across the screen for like 10 seconds, and it's just the smear is
I
big.
love seeing the digital seam and the texture on the
Yeah.
bottom of the belly.
Now
button.
it's a little rough.
I can't
Right.
see it. Shush.
The this gives the scale like tremendously. I will say the ovipositor where they're like these are football sized eggs. I'm like does not look football sized.
Right.
It looks very small.
No,
You know-
I know how big that
I've been there.
ovipositor is.
You've been there.
I was just there like 2 days ago.
Yeah, I was there a few weeks ago. Colorado doesn't
born
look
there.
like this though
No, I wish.
No.
anymore.
It does.
Ooh,
I do have
anurognathus.
to say, because this is supposed to be the Morrison formation, this does seem a bit more humid than we know the Morrison to be, right?
Wrong, moron.
Wrong?
It's like
Okay.
seasonally dry
No,
and
it's
wet.
yeah. There
Oh,
are
all right,
parts,
all right.
There are parts
And
of the
it's
Morrison
huge,
that
so-
are also coal seams.
Well,
so like,
yes.
ooh, Othnielia or nothing now.
Unnamed ornithischian.
Unnamed small ornithopod.
Unnamed small Morrison ornithopod.
Which
I
they
really-
also don't name them here. So
Right. Well,
Mhm.
they were ahead of their time.
They were something.
Oh, here we go. A critter.
oh, another great sound is about to happen.
Oh,
Man,
they're
I
so
like
good.
how like the episode just started and we've seen. Ooh, I know him.
Love
Yes, you
ornitholestes.
do, Alex.
Why is
Also,
its hand
he's a-
clipping behind the sediment?
Shh.
It's not.
It was in the prior shot though.
Oh.
Why?
Oh, it's a
Kinda got
little
Love that.
quill crest.
I love
I'm
the
actually
quills.
very sad that the nasal crest is fake. I thought it
Yeah.
looked cool.
It does
It
look
does
cool.
look cool, but it's also
For-
immediately obvious that it's not.
Oh
So
yeah, no.
for
If you
the-
look
for
at
the
it for like 5
viewers-
seconds,
For the viewers who didn't know that, allegedly that the discovery that
Oh my God, he's so cute.
because it was thought at the time that Ornitholestes had a little nose horn crest thing like Ceratosaurus and
Proceratosaurus.
what
Never mind.
no Ceratosaurus.
Well, or Proceratosaurus. They both
Or-
have.
I was thinking.
either.
I was
either. But it was determined that was actually just broken nasals, and at least as I'd heard it, Amy Davidson, who's one of the former fossil preparators at the AMNH, while working on I think repairing part of the skull, was the one to point out that it was like, hey, this just looks broken.
I think she pointed it out. It is after repreparation, very obvious.
Yeah.
But I'm I'm not surprised Osborne got it wrong. Because
Osborne got a lot of things wrong.
Osborne got a lot wrong.
I have a crackhead theory.
Oh my God, they're little butts.
What's your theory, Alex?
They're trundling
Well,
as fast
so these
as
are
they
coming
can.
out of a football-sized egg, right?
Yeah.
Oh, there's sounds.
Mhm.
I forgot the little
Oh my God,
baby
they're so
Diplodocus
cute.
sounds.
I think that Ornitholestes is like kind of big.
It does look a bit big.
in this, yeah.
Like Ornitholestes is, besides Hesperornithoides, like one of the smallest morrison theropods currently named and known.
It's tiny, yeah.
It's smaller than Silurus.
Is your
I guess
hypothesis that this might be a case of mistaken synonymy?
This specific animal they made for the show.
Yes.
Yeah. Well, it's also only known from Coma Bluff, Wyoming, confidently. So it couldn't have been in Colorado. No, I'm kidding. It could have easily been in Colorado.
Wyoming and Colorado, famously not adjacent.
Famously, yeah, exactly.
So would it be like closer to the size of like Tanicalagrius or something? I have no idea how large that animal is.
Ornitholestes?
I have no the one in the show.
It looks Tanicalagrius size. This
Okay.
might have actually been. Oh yeah, this is 90.
9.
99
Yeah,
came
this could
out,
have been. This could have been when the four-limb material assigned to
I
Tanicalagrius was originally
The
Ornitholestes.
sauropodlets are like this big.
Yeah, but
Probably.
the skull of Ornitholestes is
Oh,
this
the
big.
little.
I know.
Yeah, real Ornitholestes would have been like maybe 3 times the size of a sauropodlet. Like it's not. Yeah, this feels a little bit too big.
This is
for their-
very big.
God,
This
what a
could be
good shot.
Tanicalagrius. Which oh wait, no, we have the nasals of.
Yeah, no,
All right,
it
never
doesn't
mind.
have.
There's
crest.
no hope for the crest.
There's no hope
Sad.
for the crest.
We're crestless and creatal.
One thing I really like in the show is that they've added these little ornithischians in,
Yeah.
and there's like multiple species I think shown in the Morrison with like red or blue heads.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, they
And-
have both like Othnielia and Dinosaurs.
There it is.
Right, and it just adds a lot of life to the environment.
I sure
Mhm.
hope the sequel series has many diverse species and given biomes.
Me too.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Man.
Oh my god,
I do like the prairie shots also because
the fern prairies,
the
so
fern
cool.
prairies, yeah.
And anurognathus again, which
Mhm.
Yep.
maybe were actually in the Morrison. They're definitely around at the time.
Well, it definitely
Certainly
wasn't
time appropriate.
a
Yeah.
Anurognathus, as they say.
No.
But anurognathus for our viewers are a group of cool bat-like little pterosaurs with short heads. And their fossils are confidently known in Europe and Asia, but
Hey, it's between
some-
Europe and Asia.
North America.
Not
and
North
they're also
America.
Well, I mean, it
Well,
depends
yeah.
on how you're going.
yeah.
If you
come
go
on.
the long way.
And there are some scrappy Morrison pterosaurs. So
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I think we should probably talk about the neck function thing here a little bit
Ooh,
because
yes.
this was a period of time where the over.
Oh my God,
sorry,
that was
I love
so
that.
cool.
That was so cool.
So at this point, there was an overarching idea that these animals could not have raised their necks, and that like sauropod neck posture had to be basically straight out.
so beautiful.
I think recent work on sauropod necks has generally said that they're probably held aloft a little bit at the very least in kind of an
Yeah.
S curve, which is how all necks are.
Mhm.
Necks tend to be that shape.
Yeah.
What are these damsel flies? Oh no.
So this is definitely like a very particular window in paleo reconstructions where I think the consideration was hard to get blood up that high.
Mhm.
What if the neck was just out straight? And what if the tail was just to counterbalance the neck?
Yeah.
And
Love this.
I also wanted to point out, speaking of the function of the weird extremities on this guy, to go to the other end, they do mention that the tails were tactile and were used in communication. And if you want an explanation as to why that wouldn't work, watch our sauropod nerve video
Yeah.
on that.
Yeah. Check it out.
My favorite sensory input devices have 2 seconds of input lag.
Mhm.
I like to know where things were 2 full seconds ago.
Oh.
Nice. Red Dead Redemption 2.
I think we can get radio signals back from the moon faster than a sauropod would feel pain at the end of its tail.
Probably.
Look, we've had at least 2 bugs
There we go. Bugs.
Yeah.
Okay.
Which we also
This
know
might
were
be
around.
vertebrate person talking invertebrates out my ass, but isn't there a hypothesis that dung beetles evolved, like co-evolved with sauropods?
I don't know.
There could very well be a hypothesis about that, but I don't know if there's data in support of their hypothesis.
Okay.
Yeah.
What was I didn't hear earlier. What was the reason that was given that the damselflies were landing on the sauropods?
So the reason given, and I did want to actually circle back to that, was that while they were moving around, they were disturbing a lot of insects, and then it was dovetailing into that the anurognathus was kind of an oxpecker and was picking pests and disturbed bugs off of the diplodocus. Which that's a really interesting behavior. It's probably not something that an anurognathid would do, because their anatomy seems to be a whole lot more specialized from like catching insects in flight in dense environments.
Oh my god, looks so
The scale
moist.
on this model doesn't feel like it's a 9 foot long, because they say the animal's 3 meters long here.
Yeah, no.
There's a little bit of a size feeling mismatch.
Yeah,
which is
especially
fine.
We're in the
especially
fern
once
canyon.
we get to the stego bit.
Right.
Yeah.
Like that would be
a
a giant stegosaurus.
Is it apex?
He is 7 tons. He's a big boy.
Yeah,
He's
7 tons.
Yale specimen size,
Yeah.
not apex.
God, this is like the
Ours is bigger.
canonical stegosaurus to me.
Yes.
Oh man.
And this sequence is just
It's phenomenal.
one of the best sequences ever in a dinosaur documentary, in my opinion.
Yeah.
And this location too.
Yeah, the Fern
I'm
Canyon.
obsessed with the Fern Canyon.
Where is this again? This
California.
is a famous place. California?
Yeah, I
This
think
may
so.
actually not be. This may be in New
here we
Zealand.
go.
Allosaurus. I think this is a place I would go to die. I think.
It's
Imagine
in
bleeding
Redwood.
out here.
Is it
Redwood State Park.
okay? I love.
Uh-oh.
I love the Allosaurus design. Also, the colors are phenomenal.
Like, sure, the head's wrong.
Yeah.
Who cares?
Yeah.
It's so good.
It
Watch
feels
out,
great.
guys.
Run. Waddle.
Trundle faster.
No.
I fear.
It's Prairie Creek,
Look at
Redwood
those
State
little,
Park.
like the little
in
ripples in the
California.
water, done perfectly.
Yeah.
Oh
No.
no!
No.
He got.
It's all right. Rip.
I gotta say, I love this
Slow
bit with the
down.
Stegosaurus.
He's
Just
like, no. He's
Yeah.
like, I hate these things.
Don't
I
bring
hate
them
this thing. I
closer.
spit on you.
a big. I love that of it. The Stegosaurus is just a big dumb herbivore, and it sees movement. It's scared, so it attacked.
I
Oh my
love
God.
it. Yeah.
The Allosaurus looks so friggin' sweet.
And the
And then
Allosaurus is like, I'm
the
not
roar.
gonna do this.
Wait. Yeah.
Oh,
All quiet for the roar, please.
Mm-hmm. And that's probably something that couldn't happen, sadly,
Probably. Yeah.
because the keratin. There it goes.
I
Let's
love
go.
that. Now, is that just a slowed down and pitch shifted Jurassic Park Velociraptor noise?
James?
cares?
No,
Is
is
it?
it really?
It is. Yeah.
Lamau.
No,
It's one of the sounds that I think the implication is that BBC may have ripped that particular. It's like, it's like it's not the like communication call that everybody
bark?
talks about. It's not the bark, but I think it's supposed to be one of the snarls they do occasionally, like in the original movie, that they may have ripped and pitch shifted down. There's a YouTube video about it. And by
Lions
about it,
of
I
the
mean, I think
Jurassic.
it just plays it.
Mhm.
That line
Yeah.
carried a lot of weight for me as a child.
Mhm.
The Lions of the Jurassic.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was
I
like,
also
yeah, that's
have-
what they are, right?
I also have a big soft spot for people who take that very literally. Like, there's a lot of really good design of like Allosaurus paleo art where they give him kind of a lion coloration and patterning, and it's really good.
Oh, I love these sounds.
They're so good.
These little
They're so
sauropodlets do not have the defense to prevent me from running up and scooping one up with my arms and running off with it.
No, well,
Or
it's,
to become
except
my
that
pet.
it's apparently 9 meters long.
I think of this
3 meters
exact
long, sorry.
scene every
That's
single
what
time I'm like
exercise is
stripping
for.
rosemary leaves
Yeah.
off of a stalk to.
Yeah, no,
we should
gosh,
sell a
absolutely.
Diplodocus puppet, like herb plucker thing.
Mhm.
Would you buy
Oh.
that? Sound off in comments.
No, don't.
I
I don't remember
sound
this
off.
bit.
Also
a great
love
idea.
this.
But
I
Amelia,
also
what part
forgot
of this didn't you like? Just the ovipositor?
Just the egg tube. I'm not a fan of that.
That's fair. Ooh, look at that kid. Nice little model. It's like that scene in Avatar 2.
Oh my gosh.
Forrest
She's
finds
gonna
his own
pick it up
skull.
and squeeze the skull.
Again, which is so cool.
I also really do like I have no idea if there's any evidence in support of this, but I do like the idea of them living their early years in dense forests before
I do too.
going to more open areas. There's actually, no, there's something, I'm sorry, I need to keep talking. So there's something here. This is interesting. I mean, not only does this feel completely reasonable, that they would have knocked over trees to get like food down, but this is an old Bakker idea, actually, is that, like, specifically, I think he ties this to the rise of flowering plants, and that hypothesis is not currently really supported by data. But the idea being that big dinosaur herbivores were, like, disturbing the landscape, like what you said earlier with the bugs, but that they'd, like, rip up plants and kind of rip up enough ground that they would have actually created a tremendous amount of ecological disturbance and created selective pressure for new plants to evolve. The fossil record of angiosperms doesn't really seem to support the idea that big dinosaurs evolving are what triggered them, like what triggered their diversification. But it's a neat hypothesis, and it got a lot of testing because it seemed reasonable, right? And so I think this might be reflecting that idea a little bit, like why you'd show it.
Yeah, I just wanted to say on the point earlier of the baby sauropods living in like the denser forest, it really reminds me of like how a lot of species of sharks will have their pups in mangrove forests, and then once they get large enough, then they leave. Like it's something that we see in other animals. Or at least,
no, it's not unreasonable. I also
not at all.
I love the little sonic boom every time they land, like from rearing position. It's it's such a cool sound effect.
Oh yeah. You know what is also cool about this scene?
What's that?
Sauropod dinosaurs interacting with an environment that is not a void.
Well, they have to be in the void because it's more expensive to composite them not in the void.
They push over 3 trees in that scene.
That's so cool.
That was the entire GDP of Great Britain went into making that scene.
I love the framing device of this episode of following this growing group of baby diplodocus, and you get to just kind of see everyone else who lives around them.
Yeah.
It's so cool.
It's Diplodocus and Fren.
Also, just the way they do the flying animals here are fantastic.
Like they're just whipping around.
5 years ago. Yeah, hell yeah.
God, they grow so fast.
Yeah.
Isn't
that's
the
true.
rate relatively, like consistent with what we found? Because there was that new baby Diplodocus that was found relatively recently.
Well, I mean, for growth rates, you do need histo on adults a little. Like the baby itself won't tell you how fast it was growing, right? Because you need the historical record. I love it screaming.
He's back.
Futility.
Yeah.
Please don't destroy my house.
This is an amazing looking shot. Even though the CG is not aged that well, it looks fantastic the way it's done.
And the sounds are so cool. Oh,
I like the implication that this is the same Ornitholestes from 5 years ago.
Be smaller.
And they came back like...
I like how it screamed like a person there.
Listen, they have to scream like a person occasionally. What was I saying before? Something about growth rates.
Growth rates.
I think for a Apatosaurus, it was estimated that maximal growth rate was like 5 to 10 pounds daily, which is unfathomable. You could probably watch it happening or like hear the bone depositing.
That's
Put
the
your head
joke
up to
that
its
I've
leg
made
bones
before.
and you just hear like...
Yeah, that's the joke I've made before. That if you were in a room with them, that you could just hear them growing, just stretch noises.
Yeah.
Just
oh God!
Oh, the fire!
The fire!
No,
sorry, you were going to say something.
Staying in the river, it's a fire break, guys.
This always made me sad as a kid. I didn't like this part.
Yeah.
Wow, you don't like the charming forest and its denizens catching on fire?
I know, I'm unique that way.
I've also heard this persisted to today, that like sauropods were so big that they could only have 1 foot off the ground at a time.
I mean, yeah, I think you could probably model that. I think that might be a thing that's a little bit exagerated, but it doesn't seem unreasonable.
I wouldn't expect them to be able to run at adult size, certainly.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
Damn.
I mean,
if you're that big.
12 tons is already bigger than most elephants get. Like, I think maybe all elephants. This is sad. Is
The
there a
sounds of
charcoal record in the Morrison,
screaming.
Dalton?
Oh, jeez.
I think there might be some. I
So
don't think it's
not
like
common,
tremendous.
but might happen.
If you're a sauropod and you're caught in a forest fire, you're big enough that like the back half of you could like take a while to burn before it gets to the life function parts.
Well, yeah, it would take a while for you to find out about the fire if your tail's the
Yeah.
only thing touching it.
Yeah, there is coal
This
in the
is
Morrison.
sad.
Apparently, it's at least in Montana, so at least in the northern part of the Morrison, there's coal.
Coal or charcoal?
Coal.
Oh.
Those diplodocus are lucky that they were facing the smoke
Yeah,
when the fire started.
yeah, exactly.
The other day we just watched A New Hope, and that's what that reminds me of, the little baby crispy thing.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, no.
Also, the alarm sound. So the Diplodocus vocalization is the main alarm sound that's used in Star Wars and the Death Star and everything. It's just like it's just modulated here to sound organic.
Yeah.
What?
And then this is like
Sorry for all the sound effects ruining here. Yeah.
Well, you
so good.
this is ironic that you know so much about these sounds and you don't understand music.
Well, these are dinosaurs, Amelia.
Oh, I see.
Be
I
nice,
see.
Amelia.
Love the Brachiosaurus also.
Be nice.
I'm
Be
incapable of
patient
that.
with him. I got to get him the hat.
God. Gorgeous. Absolutely gorgeous. That seems huge for Brachiosaurus.
That seems pretty large. Yeah.
yeah. Well, and the claim that they're the largest land animals that ever existed. Which
Mhm.
maybe if he's talking about like,
By
You know,
this point,
well, either by this point or if he's talking about macronarians as a whole, if he's like saying the group.
Yeah.
is this pre-Argentinosaurus being
It
widely
might
known?
be. I don't think so.
Because
I think so. This
might
is.
It's not. 1993 is Argentinosaurus.
I think they've now changed the filming location to New Zealand
I think so.
or maybe Tasmania. No, I think it must be New Zealand over here.
that shot.
I love
This
this.
shot.
Yeah. With the heat.
and the pterosaurs flying
stuff.
around them. Oh
Yeah.
man,
Oh god.
Damn, it is a shame that this is kind of the only time any sauropods are in the series.
it is.
But-
So another thing that like the size.
I was always.
Oh my god,
This always freaked me
This-
up as a kid. Just the
That was like-
size difference.
Where'd you
it's
come
so big. Well, one of the things that's always like really twisted my mind as well is that like Diplodocus was objectively a gigantic animal, but it wasn't that tall for a sauropod.
from? Yeah.
No,
Hmm.
I mean, very like most diplodocines are actually not particularly tall. Like they're very long animals, but like
Hence the longest.
it's the longest. But
But
they're not that like tall off the ground.
No, they aren't. But like to me, like whenever I picture Diplodocus, I picture like the scene of it walking over the camera as like
Right.
I'm standing,
I see.
and it's like no,
No,
not at
you're
all.
lying down. Your belly's scraping against its belly scale, or your nose is
Yeah.
scraping on its belly scales. It is a shame that these are kind of like inverted like this. Like I don't know who was exactly doing the sauropod posture for the show, but I think
Yeah, where they kind of tip down.
yeah,
Yeah,
It's odd.
it's odd. Well, like their forearms are long enough they didn't do that. But I do like this display.
Mm-hmm.
If I were a female Diplodocus, I'd be sold.
Oh, wow.
and I like the fight too.
Wait,
It's fun.
this is another great sound effect. I don't know where it comes from.
It's kind of like what giraffes do, and
Yeah.
it makes a ton of sense.
But what if they did their interspecies selection with their vestigial?
Yeah, Alex, I know you're making a joke here, but like, are they missing the thumb spikes?
They may.
They might be. Their hands looked a little weird when I've seen them. They're not quite.
Yeah.
They usually
Those are
don't
hard to
show
get.
them.
Everyone always gets sauropod hands wrong because
Yeah.
they're bad.
Oh yeah.
Also, I don't think we'd mentioned yet, but like this row of spikes going down their back is not speculation. This is something that we know that at least some Diplodocus had from how Corey specimens
Yeah.
that were preserved with these.
Yeah, and this was also a fairly new, like I think a newly established thing at this time. Like this
Mhm.
was the first major depiction of them to have that.
Yeah,
Look
yeah,
at the
yeah.
shadow
Look at
of
the
it.
shadow.
On
Yeah,
the-
Oh
that's so
my
fucking
god.
I hadn't even noticed that previously.
It's so good.
Oh, hey.
Oh yeah.
Viewer discretion is advised.
You think?
The way their jaw like hinges on their head always looks bad.
Uh-oh.
Yeah, oh,
The dead silence of all of you is the funniest
Damn,
part
bitch.
of
This-
this.
I'm just
What those-
taking
what
it.
those
What am I
reinforced
supposed to
hips
say at a moment like this, Amelia?
it's the miracle of life.
It's that and that like just deep baritone like moan that they make. It's
James
not,
had a moment
It's
of
like a
solid.
tortoise.
James had a felt a moment of kinship with the diplodocus.
That'll be fun to edit.
yeah. Well, we can't.
Oh man.
Oh, I love this.
Is the diplodocus ever aware it's being watched?
Is it
Is
ever
the
aware?
Diplodocus ever aware? It's that thing that everyone posts on like little kittens online. It's like, does he know he exists?
Yo, oh my
Love
god,
this shot.
they look so cool.
Something about the
neck,
like the harsh sunlight here is really doing well for
the
them.
neck
too.
is giving like
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Oh
my
This
God.
looks so good.
Yeah. That's so cool.
How'd they do that?
How
In
did they do that?
1999?
yeah,
Man.
Oh my
There go
God.
some of the feature scales.
It's
Ooh,
that
man, you
sound when they hit the ground
biffed
I
it.
love too.
So that bit of the allosaurus jumping on the side there, when I watched this when it
Real.
aired, I was so scared I had to hide under the blanket.
It's I
Does
mean
look real.
you had a
This
past
is-
life as a diplodocus female 150 million years ago.
No, never
Look
mind.
at
It's
this.
trauma,
Yeah.
He
genetic
kind of like, he
memory.
reminds me of a Tamandua right now a little bit with his like.
Well, this is like
Yeah.
this is very much giving the American Museum.
yeah.
Yeah.
Damn, laid him out.
Mm. Situational awareness. Oh, the way it gets up too is
Yeah.
very good.
Oh. Hurted.
The size difference again.
Look at
The size
that.
difference is insane. Because like the Allosaurus was like huge compared to this Diplodocus. And the
And
big one
that
is like
guy is
you will never touch me.
quadruple her size. Good lord.
Is that like Seismosaurus size?
I think
The
that
biggest
must be what
ones?
it's being based
Must
on.
be.
Yeah.
I think so.
Because I mean, it's been
Oh,
hypothesized that well,
Sad.
also
yeah,
Except in the
Remember.
Cretaceous.
except in the
misinformation.
Cretaceous.
except
When they're
immediately
much
afterwards
bigger.
and forever.
These
Until the
shots look
asteroid.
really good, especially
do.
for the time they were made.
It's weird because yeah, usually like CG in the sun is not great.
I think
And this
I
is
think
just
the added motion tracking of like what seems to be a helicopter shot. Well, what's definitely like a helicopter or plane shot. Like really adds to the, I'll say James's line, verisimilitude of
it
that.
does.
well,
Oh, this is definitely New Zealand though. Look at that.
Oh,
Oh
yeah.
yeah.
The hobbits are off in the distance. You can see them.
Yeah. Well, so it's not just that it's sunlight though. It's like for this in
She like
particular,
Tasmania, New Zealand.
it's the unidirectional light. I think that helps. Like
Yeah.
CG
Mm.
looks best in either very dim light, but usually with a strong and like unidirectional light source. Like I think the reason that modern CGI often looks bad, in addition to many things people talk about, is like usually we're in fairly brightly lit sets that have like bounce lights and keys from everywhere. And so when you're like actually outside in like a harsh kind of like raking sunlight, that's going to be better for CG than a lot of other things. Like one of the best looking shots in Jurassic Park is the Gallimimus stampede
True.
thing.
Yeah,
This is true. That's
Right.
a true fact.
All right. Well,
Oh, pause it.
All right.
Starting the next one.
Well, that's it. Oh, is it starting the next one? We
Yes,
can't let
yes.
that happen. Okay.
Not yet.
Well, not yet.
You gotta
Not-
wait.
Not for a few minutes. Anyway, that was Walking with Dinosaurs, Time of the Titans.
I had a Titanic time.
That
Well,
was,
that was so good.
amazing.
Oh my god.
It's just fantastic. It's a really good show. I do want to say though, I am perpetually surprised in retrospect how little like science teaching actually happens in Walking with Dinosaurs.
yeah.
Like, I mean, it's
Yeah.
fine. In my memory, though, I remember Walking with Dinosaurs. I think maybe because I watched it last when I was fairly young, or first when I was fairly young, I should say, having more like science content of like, hey, here's how we know these things. And I do think they did air like some documentary things of like a behind the scenes sort of thing after the show at some point that we're not including here, but maybe they didn't.
I don't know.
But it's much more like a prehistoric planet approach of like we're just showing this and this is what it was like.
Yeah.
I think what might set it apart is like, I think that things in Prehistoric Planet are very specific in a way that makes them feel speculative. Whereas like these feel very kind of generalized, even for the things that aren't, where it's like the baby could be attacked and then it gets bigger and then it would have to mate. Where like,
these are true things.
These are things animals do. I think one of the reasons that maybe the response to Prehistoric Planet on that front is often a little bit more complicated is like there's such specific statements about what animals are like with modern analogs versus like a fairly generalized, like we're not really implicitly hypothesizing a lot about diplodocus biology here.
No, but it's like, oh, Mononychus had a facial disc and it had asymmetrical ears specifically to hear like termites and other insects inside wood.
Right.
And it's like,
right.
It's like some of that's true.
Some of it. But anyway, we should read the names of our patrons because they support our channel and keep us going. So we hope you like this. We've got 4 more episodes to go, and we're gonna watch some of them right now. But you'll see them at a later point,
time.
At a later date. Another episode.
And I want to thank the patrons who allow us to keep doing this channel, who at the time of recording include, I say slowly because I'm pulling up the page.
I would have never been able to tell.
And I was sorting by active as well. Insert nickname: Benjamin Seepser, Christopher Bellis Jones, Aaron Anderson, Adamolos, Blacklight Virus, Black Spectral Pig, Brett Booth, Camphibia, Chaotic Kaiju, Dinodom, Keenan Taylor, Kevin Preem, King Zashu, Lincoln Rivenbark, Noah Riccio, Resty HBK, Squat Pump, The Wigster, Touch Connors, Wheat Mrs. Website Baryonyx, and You've. Thank you all very much for your support of the Skeleton Crew.
Thank you.
We appreciate it tremendously. And we will see you next time when we watch the Cruel Seas episode of Walking with Dinosaurs, 1999. All right. Bye, everybody.
Bye. See you in the water.